EPL Roundup. Yeah, we're going to talk about the EPL Roundup. There were some great games today. Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool, all lost. So we're going to have that conversation about 5 minutes. We're going to start. Okay, let's go ahead and start talking about the EPL Roundup. The games that actually took place today. Big surprises. Poor game from Wemo. Wemo actually lost. Manchester United lost today to Brentford. That's Mbuemo's former team. Former Mbuemo's former team. Yeah, it's been a long day. Got up early. So yeah, let's go ahead and start. Poor game from Mbuemo today. Zero shot on target. He had two successful crosses out of seven. He won a penalty that was missed by Fernandez. When you look at Mbuemo's performances or his performance last season with Brentford, he scored 20 goals. Of the 20 goals he scored, five of them were penalties. At Manchester United, we know Fernandez is the one that actually takes the penalties. Mbuemo created a penalty today when he was fouled in the box. Fernandez has taken two penalties so far with Manchester United. He missed one today. So if you are doing calculation, I know that football, it's not all about math. It's not a perfect math situation. You will say that at least five goals. Let's say if Muemo had same performances with Manchester United as he did with Brentford. So you have to take away five goals because Fernandez is the one actually taking penalties for Manchester United. So he would not score as many goals as he did score for Brentford with Manchester United because the penalties will be taken out. And the way you look Manchester United play, Mbuemo so far has scored one goal, zero assists in 6 games played. Where do you think Mbuemo is going to end when it comes to goal scoring for Manchester United this season? Please comment. I want us to talk about that. How long will Almorin stick with his 3-4-2-1 formation? Now, if you look at the way Manchester United play, especially against Brentford, what was Brentford doing? Brentford was going long balls. The first goal was a long ball. The second one was a long ball. Look at the direct play of Brentford. The former Liverpool captain, Henderson. Great ball over the top. What was Maguire doing? He's trying to play offside. Come on, look at your positioning. And that striker, the striker, I mean, he's fast. Maguire tried to step one step in front of him, or 1, 2 steps in front of him. He could not catch the striker offside. And that's dangerous. That's dangerous defending. Regardless of the fact that you're defending with three at the back, three central defenders, but they don't just have the pace. And Maguire, trying to beat the offside trap, was caught. Thiago went and scored. Great goal. There was nothing Bayende could do. Now, keep in mind, Bayende was normally the backup keeper, but Onana was let go by Amorim in favor of Bayende. He actually made 3 key saves in this game. He kept Manchester United in this game. Although the second goal was on him, I think he could have stopped the second and the third goal. But I will not blame a backup keeper in these situations. Of course, it's definitely not good enough if Manchester United wants to make Europe, let's say, top 4. Definitely not good enough. The turning point of this Manchester United-Brentford game was the penalty miss by Fernandes. He's taken 2 penalties this year with Manchester United this season. He scored 1 and he's missed 1. Amorim's numbers don't look good at all. There was another game played. Oh, yeah, Sesko. Sesko actually scored his first goal for Manchester United. Cunha is yet to score for Manchester United this season. He worked so hard, but little impact. Playing just behind Sesko. Him and Boemo, I think they had below par. Their game was not effective today. Chelsea lost at home against Brighton. Pedro. You guys remember when Pedro just went from Brighton to Chelsea? A lot of noise was made. He came in, played well, the FIFA Club World Cup. But I told guys, hey, that's not the EPL. And some Chelsea fans did not want to listen. They made a big problem with Nicholas Jackson. Of course, Nicholas Jackson, I don't think it's a situation where I don't think Nicholas Jackson will benefit a lot of going to a Bayern Munich. Of course, the season is still early. There will be many games. But I think it's a situation where a divorce was not good for both parties. And the reason I say that is just because of games like today. You look at Chelsea, they're playing now with Pedro. Pedro is a lone man. Delap, injured. This is one of the games where Nicholas Jackson, he weighs a lot on defenses. It's one of the games where he could have come in and helped. However, because Chelsea got Pedro and he came in scoring goals, they made it a huge problem for Nicholas Jackson. Look at Liverpool. How many strikers do they have? They have a lot. So why could Chelsea not keep both players? So we saw Pedro struggling again. Yes, he struggled. Caicedo, he had that great pass in the first half, created that opportunity that led to a goal. But apart from that, struggled in the midfield. Yes, Chelsea went down a man, and that has been a problem for Chelsea. Last game against Manchester United, they went down the man, straight red card. These Santos bad pass, and he exposed, the last defender who actually brought down the Brighton striker. Of course, Chalaba was exposed by the bad pass from Santos, and was given a straight red. Baleba, I've spoken about Baleba, his minutes being reduced by the coach. The situation, there was a lot of news in the press about him going to Manchester United. So psychologically, yes, The coach says, okay, you have to settle down, you have to refocus. I mean, 67 minutes is above what he's been playing, so I can see maybe some increase because he's been playing. He has an average of about 45 to 48 minutes. So 67 minutes means he played a lot. He came out when his team was down by a goal. However, Welbeck came from the bench to score two brilliant goals in a game that Brighton actually won by a score of 3 goals to 1. So that's great performances there by Brighton altogether. Before I go to the Madrid derby, yes, the Madrid derby, La Liga, they were also Manchester City 5-star game. They beat Burnley 5-1. And we do remember the game Manchester City actually drew with Arsenal 1-1. A lot of people talking about how Pep Guardiola went defensive, back the balls. Of course, Pep Guardiola has realized that his team is not ready to go away at Arsenal and open up for a team like Arsenal. When you see games like this that they win 5-1, of course, good performance. But who did they play against? Burnley. Burnley just came back, from the championship. So they are winning games that they are supposed to win. At least we can say that for now. Not long ago, Wolves actually beat them. Another game that caught my attention, everybody's attention. Actually, Liverpool finally lost. Yes, Liverpool finally lost. I mean, I said this. There's a lot of people that were already saying that Liverpool, not really unbeaten season, but that they're going to have a great run. Of course, when you look at the job Liverpool did during the summer window, bringing out Wells for a record transfer from Bayer Leverkusen, the German, bringing in Isaac, who played today, poor game, record transfer, bringing in Ekitike, red card, suspended for this game. A lot of people said, okay, Liverpool will just run away with it. I'm not one of those because I've always said that, in my opinion, I think Arsenal favorite to win the EPL. Of course, they have to play Newcastle, tough game tomorrow, and they have to try not to drop points against Newcastle in order to catch up with Liverpool and start putting the pressure. The reason I said this is because Liverpool has spent a lot of money on attacking players. I think Isaac was one more that they did not actually need. And the reason for me saying that is because of the way Ekitike actually started the league. He's been playing well and he's a little bit different from Isaac. He is more comfortable coming deep and running all around the place, trying to be part of the game. If you see Isaac can play deep, but he can do the link up plays. But I think Isaac is more of like closer to the goal player. That's where he wants to play. He didn't have a lot of touches in the box today. Of course, some will say he's coming from a different team into it. No, but he's still in the same league. And the amount of money that was paid with him for him just means more pressure. So there's gonna be pressure on Isaac. There's gonna be pressure on Wells. There's already pressure. His game today, of course, he had that shot on target today, but that was saved. And there's already pressure. I mean, the only one guy that is dealing well with the pressure was Ekitike, but yet we saw that red card. And Liverpool actually had a taste of their own medicine. It was 1-1. I don't understand how that Kaiser goal actually stood. Because if you look at the replay, Mohamed Salah touched the ball with his head. So I thought that goal was going to be ruled out. However, the goal was accepted. But guess who came and scored the winning goal for Crystal Palace? Okay. Yeah, Ketia, the former Arsenal man. So he's the one who came in and buried Liverpool. So in previous games, we have seen Liverpool not really play well, but they've been winning. And today, Crystal Palace, oh my goodness, Crystal Palace. Did I say Crystal Palace? Crystal Palace, if you look at what Crystal Palace have done from last year, winning a cup, then the Community Shield, and then they have beaten Liverpool how many times now? And this is a team that has consistently sold players. If you look at this year, they sold Eze. Last year, they sold the French kid to Bayern Munich. Then they had let go Saha is that 3-4 years ago. So they have been selling some good players. I must tell you this, guys. Respect for Mateta. Mateta is a player that I did not actually respect when I saw him. My first time when watching him in the EPL, I saw him. I'm like, okay, he's big and all that, he's strong, but technically he's not good. Nah, I can take that back. I was mistaken. Mateta, the way he played today, oh my goodness. And don't get me wrong, the goalkeeper, Anderson of Liverpool, he actually kept Liverpool in this game. He had about 3-4 saves, or maybe 5 saves, one-on-one, that kept Liverpool in this game. Okay. But when we thought that Liverpool was coming back, what happened? Last kick of the ball, and Ketia crucified them for 2-1. So Liverpool has been living dangerously. And I think we're going to see more of this because I've said this constantly. Liverpool doesn't have a good enough defense. That defense is not good enough. That midfield today, we also saw how for them it was difficult to break down Crystal Palace because Crystal Palace is very disciplined at the back. That's their strength. They're very disciplined at the back. The way they play you, very disciplined. Then they have opportunities, counter-attacking opportunities. When you thought that Liverpool was going to do what they do, come with a winning goal, it was Crystal Palace instead. So, I mean, the games today, just amazing. And now you look at the table, Crystal Palace is actually second after 6 games. Goal differential, same as Liverpool, +5, just 3 points away from Liverpool. I mean, that's how good Crystal Palace has been. Spurs came from behind to draw with Wolves. Last minute goal. Oh, Wolves. That must hurt because that could have helped take them out, that bottom, because they are the bottom of the league. That would have helped taking them maybe above West Ham. Now they have just how many points do they have? Hold on. What am I looking at? Let me see how many points. Yeah, they have just 1 point. Should they have won today, they would have gone level of points with Newcastle. So I mean that last minute goal from Tottenham hurts. It hurts actually very bad for them. Sunderland is another team. Sunderland won 1-0 today, and they now fourth. Of course, I do understand it's just 6 games being played. Bournemouth, yeah, tough now, tough team. Bournemouth is actually fifth. Then Manchester City also just won today. They have 10 points altogether. Arsenal has a game in hand. They're sitting number 7. Arsenal has to make sure that they make the defeat of Liverpool actually count. That's a team that have failed to actually win the league. So they must go out to Newcastle and win against Newcastle. Let's see what starting lineup Arteta is going to play because that's actually very important. In my opinion, that's very important. The way Arteta actually approaches this game tomorrow, and it's an away game. So that will be very important. Other games that take place tomorrow for the EPL, let me see. Aston Villa, Fulham. Aston Villa has been very disappointing. When I got up today and they said an EPL manager had been sacked, I thought I thought Emery of Aston Villa was actually the manager they were talking about, but no, it was that of West Ham. And yes, West Ham. What did West Ham do? No, West Ham actually plays on Monday. Yes, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they play Everton on Monday. And the former manager of Nottingham Forest got actually beat today. And they were beaten by, is it Sunderland who beat them today? Yep. It should be Sunderland that actually beat them today. And that's karma, man. The owner, the way he let, yeah, Sunderland beat them today. That's karma. The way he let the former boss of Nottingham Forest go just because of ego, I think that will actually come to haunt them. Xhaka was a provider of that assist in the game that Nottingham Forest actually lost. You know, so today the EPL was just actually amazing. Some great games. I want to talk about the Real Madrid derby in order to end this segment. And I actually previewed this game, right? And in my preview, I talked about two strikers, the hottest strikers in the EPL in La Liga, Alvarez and Mbappe. Now, Kylian Mbappe is on fire. If you watched him this season, seven games, 8 goals for Real Madrid. He's leading the goal scoring, in La Liga. Alvarez, before their previous game, he scored just 1 goal, and he was having a tough time. But then when they played Rayo Vallecano, he had a hat trick, two amazing goals. I mean, that's why you see teams like Barcelona actually chasing him down. They want to sign him by all costs. Maybe next summer you're gonna see that happen because Lewandowski is getting old. Yeah, we know he's a goal machine. He scores when he wants. But Alvarez, believe me, guys, I mean that's a player. I remember when Manchester City actually sold Alvarez. I said, "Oh yeah, okay, okay, he could go because they had Foden and they had just won Champions League. They had just done the treble, right? They won Champions League, FA Cup, and all that good stuff." And say, yeah, he could go because Manchester United had depth and De Bruyne was still there and all that. But I'll take that back. But again, even if I take that back, how are you going to play him together with Haaland? So it was still tough. Manchester United decided to make some good money. And Atletico Madrid is actually benefiting from that. Okay. Now, coming into this game, Real Madrid has a new coach, Xabi Alonso, and he was 6 out of 6, already like 6 out of 6. When you watch Real Madrid play, in my opinion, Kylian Mbappe has been the difference maker. Kylian Mbappe has been scoring goals. Don't get me wrong, Vinicius in his last 2 games has also been amazing. I think he has 3 or 4 goals, something like that. He also had an assist today. That was actually great. If you see the way he took 2 players, created that opportunity, and then fed the ball to the Turkish kid. That was amazing. I mean, the finish was just great, by Güler, the Turkish kid. Yeah, the Turkish playmaker. He's having a fantastic season. However, when I watched Real Madrid play, I think that was Olympique Marseille in Champions League football. Marseille dominated Real Madrid. For those who watched that game and those who are honest, Marseille actually dominated that game, and Marseille shouldn't have lost that game, apart from the poor decision where the ref actually gave a penalty. That was a poor call. Fast forward today, those who watched the game, Real Madrid versus Atletico, Real Madrid lost by a score of 2 goals to 5. Can see what guys like me have been talking about. Real Madrid not being a team, being more of Mbappe, Vinicius, magical moments. I know Bellingham is just back from injury. He's not yet there. So I cannot talk much about him. But that's what Real Madrid actually is. Because when you look at their midfield is not actually good enough. The midfield play is not actually good enough. And that was actually exposed today by Atletico Madrid. Now, keep in mind, Atletico Madrid coming into this game was 9 points of Real Madrid. So they have not been playing that great. They were 9 points off Real Madrid. They have not been playing that great. They had to come back from behind in order to beat Rayo Vallecano. They were 2-1 down at a certain point. But as I said, the magic of Alvarez brought them back into the game. So when you look at this game today with Chouamini back, Valverde in that midfield, Ada Güler playing as playmaker, Jude Bellingham starting also. Okay, but the way Atletico Madrid started, they were the more aggressive side. You know, Alexander, great goal. He combined well with Alvarez up front. 4-4-2. That's the formation Atletico Madrid actually used. They were the most aggressive team. They went up by a score 1-0. Mbappe equalized. Brilliant. I mean, from nothing, it was 20 something minute. Real Madrid did not even have a shot on target. Just one opportunity. And that's how Mbappe has been playing this season. Just very good. He scored 1-1. Real Madrid then went up 2-1. That brilliant play I talked about from Vinicius on the left. Gulia scored for 2-1. At this point, Atletico was not discouraged. They had an equalizer, but it was a handball type of equalizer. Real Madrid cannot defend crosses. And that's how Alexander scored the equalizer for Atletico Madrid. After that, it was all Alvarez. Alvarez scored 2 goals. Go check out that free kick by Alvarez. He can whip them as good as anybody can score free kicks. That's Alvarez. Courtois was beating for 3-2. Alvarez scored again to make it 4-2. Then the Frenchman came from the bench. Yes, Griezmann is already on his way out. He doesn't have the legs. He doesn't have the legs. But if you see the run he made into space in order to score for 5-2, I mean, that's a humiliation. And you're talking about Atletico Madrid that doesn't score that many goals. Okay, we're talking about Atletico Madrid that doesn't score that many goals. So what Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone just did today is just expose Real Madrid and show us that the problems of last season that Real Madrid was having, they still have those problems. Their midfield is not good enough. Their defense is sloppy. 5 goals scored by Atletico Madrid. When was the last time did you saw Atletico Madrid humiliate Real Madrid in the Madrid derby? Please share, comment. Let me have your opinions about these games. I mean, this was one of the best Saturday when it comes to football. There are also some great results in other leagues, but I just wanted to focus on these 2 leagues. 30 minutes of football. That's what I had for you. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Stay blessed.